Thanks for tuning into this channel. Glad you guys can make it back for this video to discuss this topic on LeBron. An NBA scout says that LeBron could be exposed on defense. All right, that's his quote, not mine. But I do want to discuss this, and I do want to kind of hear what you guys have to say on this, actually. So LeBron's defense this year, it's been like a two-sided kind of situation. The first 3 months of the season, his defense was deplorable. It was bad. And then in January, it was much better. And then he followed up January with another strong February. And that was the reason why they were so dominant for those 2 months during those, 7, 8, or 9 weeks. Even when AD was out, even when AD was traded and Luka wasn't in the lineup after the trade, the Lakers were winning games and they were finding success because their defense was much improved. And a lot of that had to do with the effort and the vigor from LeBron on the defensive side of the ball. But listen to this quote from this anonymous scout. Quote, Luka has to guard somebody, and you can wear him down. When LeBron is on the weak side, he switches so he doesn't have to move as much. I've seen him do it several times in one possession. In the playoffs, you will see teams target LeBron and Luka and put them in the pick and roll. All right, to evaluate this, he's not wrong. We can all see those same things. It's true. Luka's defense is really situational. He actually doesn't play good fundamental defense. Luka takes chances, he plays passing lanes, he goes for steals, and he does make some defensive plays. But those same risks that he takes can result in points against. So there's that part. And then for LeBron, I think the scout's right. There are situations in the playoffs with certain matchups where opposing coaches are going to look for LeBron in certain situations to get him in precarious ones, where there's a bunch of mix-up, where there's switching, where LeBron has to chase someone down. Look, if the Lakers end up playing zone, that'll favor LeBron not gassing out and not having to chase anybody down. But if the Lakers have to play man, which it's gonna be some mix of that, like especially when it comes to transition defense. You can't play transition defense in a zone. But I think what's going to end up happening in the half-court sets and in the man situations, they're looking to put LeBron on the other team's slowest, least offensively capable player to preserve LeBron's energy. So it's going to basically be a non-center and a non-point guard. Point guard's going to cook him. A very potent shooting guard, wingman, is going to cook him. So you're basically trying to put him on your power forward and hope that their power forward's kind of weak sauce. But yeah, it's true. They be switching all things. Less moving for LeBron. Now, specifically to speak to the Timberwolves, because that's going to be their matchup. I think what's going to end up happening is you've got Anthony Edwards, and I think he's probably going to draw a lot of attention from Vando, Goodwin in some spots. I don't know. I'm trying to think of who their best on-ball defender is going to be. You might see Austin Reeves on him sometimes. Even though Austin Reeves, I would not call him a good defender. Sometimes he plays decent defense. Hell, you might even see some DFS on Anthony Edwards on some switches and some pick and rolls and those kind of things. Gabe Vincent might end up there sometimes. I mean, it's possible. I wouldn't call him a great defender either. He fights, he competes. But they have a situation with Anthony Edwards. And then if your best defender is going to be an Ant-Man, and then what about Terrence Shannon Jr.? What about Jaden McDaniels? I think those are the guys that LeBron's probably going to find himself kind of ending up on, and they move. Those guys are movers, right? So even if LeBron doesn't have to defend Anthony Edwards, which, I mean, hell no, right? And if they play a zone, he might have some problems with a guy like Naz Reid, who's bigger and stronger, in my estimation, at least at this point in their careers, right? Like Naz Reid, he's a kind of like a center in today's modern NBA. And he's really savvy. He's a really smart, high IQ player. He's going to put guys in precarious positions offensively. There's a couple of guys that are going to give LeBron problems, and namely, I think it's going to be Julius Randle, right? He can beat LeBron off the dribble, in my estimation. I'm not saying he's better than LeBron. I'm just positioning it from his youth and his mobility. If Julius Randle is actively moving, he'll give LeBron problems. Now, if he's just going to make LeBron guard him face up, towards the basket, I think LeBron can actually guard Julius Randle just fine. I don't think he's going to hold Randle to 0 points or 6 points or 8 points. I think he can, keep Randle to like a 12 or a 14 point average for the series kind of deal. I don't know how much you're going to be able to hide LeBron, because defensively, while the Lakers had a good stretch, they're really inconsistent. Some games the defense is good, some games the defense is not. I mean, we've seen some pretty bad showings from them defensively. So what's the real Lakers? Is it a Lakers defense that is stout and competes fiercely on every possession, closes out all shots, defends the perimeter, boxes out for rebounds, finishing possessions? Is it that version of the Lakers, or is it the lazy one in which LeBron is going to get run off the baseline and the sideline, and they're going to put him in action and make him move his feet, make him spend energy? If I was the Timberwolves, I would be doing what the scout is talking about, getting him in those situations, making him move. It's true, LeBron is not going to foul. He doesn't really foul much. You know, he gets a couple fouls a game, but, you know, he doesn't get called for a lot of fouls. And he's not a hacker, not really. I mean, sometimes I see him get a little handsy on the offensive screens, kind of annoying, but look, I think it's going to be more of a situation of the better players on, you know, the Wolves. It's going to be Dorian Finney-Smith defending one of their better, you know, players, and I think it's going to be some combination of Goodwin, Vando, you know, the Austin Reeves. It's just the youth and the quickness, and it's true. You can't hide LeBron, you can't hide Luka, and what they're going to do is they're just going to try to get the points back. I don't think this matchup is going to be too bad for the Lakers. I think they can outscore the Timberwolves. But I do think that this could be some close games coming down to the wire, and it's going to come down to execution and whoever can get the most stops at the end of the game. Anyways, let me know if you guys agree. Do you agree with this? What the scout is saying about LeBron's defense? Yeah, I mean, it's not what it used to be. You know, he's not the defender he was. There was a time where he was an All-NBA defender. You know, but that was like more than 10 years ago. You know what I mean? And actually, since that mark, since about halfway through his career, each year his defense got less engaging, less vigorous, less intense, more situational. The big plays, the big splash plays are always help defense. You know, just kind of calling it how I see it. I don't know. I think this guy is onto something, the scout. But I think LeBron will play good enough defense to get him out of the first round. I don't think that's going to be the trouble. I think where the trouble is going to come into play is when I look at the next round and the round after that. The teams are better than the Timberwolves. They're more complete with more dynamic offenses and better options. That's where I think LeBron can really tire. You guys know at the end of games, LeBron gets, he's old. You know, that's just father time. You know, he could probably give you a solid 35 minutes. Once he goes over 40 minutes, things are going to get kind of suspect. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about the scouts' opinions and thoughts on this. Do you guys think that LeBron is going to get exploited defensively in this playoffs? Let me know. Drop me a comment. Like, share, and subscribe. Check out some more videos. We'll see you guys on the next one.